I thought this day would never come. I figured it'll always stay perpetually distant and in the future. But here we are. We've made it. Welcome, gamers, to the final any percent improve video. And what better way to finish it off than with the final kingdom in the game. This whole series has been a wild ride. Starting off all because I realized Halo and Cryptic weren't doing fish manip in Lake Kingdom, recording a scuffed version of what would eventually evolve into the series you all know and love today. In the time it's taken to get through all of any percent, this channel has skyrocketed from just 300-ish subscribers all the way to over 1,300. Thank you all for joining me on this journey. Thank you to everyone that has left me comments of support, helped me with any slight mistakes I've made, subscribed to the channel, gone as far as visiting the stream, even for just a second. The support means the world to me, and honestly, without it, we probably would have stopped without even getting halfway. This channel isn't going to just vanish after this video. I've got plenty more coming in the future, so I hope you guys enjoy the content to come, and again, thank you for everything you've done to help the channel so far. Also, as a little side note, this is now the second time that I'm recording this script, as apparently the first time I tried, the file was rendered completely useless. So, you are viewing this video a little bit later than it was supposed to go out. I apologize. I'll try and make it up to you. I'll try and get another video out this week. No guarantees, because I can't guarantee that one will go well either, but I'm gonna try. But let's not just beat around the bush all day. We've got a video to start. Moon Kingdom is Odyssey's final kingdom, featuring some really annoying moon gravity, and also a distinct lack of it in places where there really should be. And then there's a portion as Bowser, of all characters, to finish this out with the most anime music possible. This is Moon Kingdom. Let's go fast, shall we? But of course, before we do, one last time for this series, if you haven't already and you want to get closer to the community and interact with us all, do consider joining the Discord. The link is in the description, as always. We'd love to see you over there, even if it's just for the cat pics, which is completely understandable. Or if you'd like those cat pics to be sent just for you, consider heading on over to the Twitch channel. There's a channel points reward that you can redeem to get some of those cat pics sent in the Discord just for you. But without further ado, let's get this started, shall we? After skipping the intro cutscenes into the kingdom, spam through the Cappy text and prepare to roll as soon as you can. Once you've initiated a roll, time 3 motion inputs to roll boost forward. After your last roll boost, as you start running straight ahead, jump up and begin vectoring towards the left. Jump again and vector towards the right. Then one more time to triple jump and vector towards the left. As a little side note here, it is important to mention that the way you start this sequence doesn't really matter. You can go left or right. I just prefer to do it this way, as it makes the upcoming piece of movement just a little bit easier. About halfway during this triple jump, I like to swing my analog stick back towards directly forward, and then curving it back towards the right. If you don't do this early enough, you'll end up too caught up in the vector, and Mario won't actually be able to change his position in midair any longer, and you'll go way too far off in one direction. But once you're close enough to the floor, dive towards it and begin roll boosting forwards. You should be on the perfect cycle to avoid this spinning moon snake as you roll right past it. Then continuing to roll boost towards the bridge, you should once again be on the perfect cycle to avoid this next moon snake by roll boosting over it. Then continuing to roll boost forwards, make your way to the right side of the ledge and roll boost to get up the step. Then roll boosting towards the first rocket flower, and once you're close enough to it, roll cancel towards it and instantly input a motion shake to home Cappy into it and return. All while immediately starting to walk towards the other rocket flower, and as soon as you get Cappy, throw Cappy out again towards the next rocket flower and shake to home in. Then begin running towards and up the ramp, then run towards the left corner and jump off it. Vector towards the right, and if you got both rocket flowers, jump again and vector towards the left. If you didn't get both, as soon as you land, initiate a roll and begin roll boosting straight ahead. But back to having the rocket flowers. Once you run around the corner, you should just now be running out of the rocket flower boost, then jump up in the air, and once you're above the Sphinx's head, throw out Cappy to kill your momentum and instantly ground pound. This movement isn't the fastest way to do this, but this is always the way that's worked really well for me, and it's kind of that like intermediate stage where it's fast, but it's not like BTT or anything, but it's perfectly acceptable. Once you're at the peak of the ground pound, do your normal moon cave skip movement, throw out Cappy, hold him against the wall, then hold forward and float into Cappy and bounce up. Position yourself in the center of this L on the wall and then wall jump off. If you want to go super fast here, the idea is to not cap stall at all, as that obviously loses time, as we've explained before. Then hold directly left on your analog stick, and if you've wall jumped off the first wall in the right spot, you should be able to wall jump again. Once you've wall jumped for the second time, after briefly delaying, throw Cappy towards the platform in front of you and dive. then we can either go for a bit more of a riskier strat here, or we can simply play it safe depending on how much you want to risk your on-pace run. If you're ready to risk it all for minimal time save, using the momentum you already have from diving onto this raised section, continue running along it for a brief second, then pressing and holding the jump button to get a max height jump. Then cap diving towards but slightly parallel to the bridge, then aiming towards it and diving onto it. The reason this is risky as hell isn't just because you're jumping over the abyss, but also because the game has a tendency of randomly dropping your cap throw here, even if you walk along the ground for like a second. It's likely due to the weird geometry of this weird rocky section we're running across, but I'm not entirely sure. But if you want to take it a bit safer, once you land on this rocky section, instead of running along it, simply stand there, then backflip, and then just like before, cap diving towards and parallel to the bridge before diving onto it. Then, no matter which option you chose, simply begin roll boosting as fast as you can towards the chapel, making sure you take nothing but a directly straight line here, no curving around, going left and right. Make a beeline for the entrance. Then, once you're inside the chapel, as soon as you gain control of Mario, initiate a roll, and once again, roll straight ahead towards the door. Once you're close enough, roll cancel into the door, then continue throwing out Cappy to break it open. Skip the cutscene, then instantly start roll boosting towards Bowser. Once the next cutscene pops up, once again, instantly skip the cutscene, and then the following subsequent cutscene. Then, once you gain control of Mario, jump and dive slightly towards the right. This is all before you can even see Mario, by the way. And as soon as you land, spin throw to knock the hat Bowser's thrown, then jump up, spin throw, and instantly dive. Make sure to not get too close to the hat or you'll instantly capture it, but also making sure you don't dive too far away from it or your spin throw won't connect with it. Then simply continue roll boosting towards Bowser. You'll notice your spin throw ends just short of Bowser, so simply jump up and dive towards Bowser and start shaking to attack. Then simply fight Bowser as you normally would, making sure to do the fast Bowser hat strats I go over in my video on the topic. Then once you get the final hit on him, immediately skip the cutscene. Once you gain control of Mario, roll and shake to boost 3 times, then once again skipping the cutscene. Then, during this long black screen, normally what you have to do is wake Mario up with the jump input, but you can do this without actually being able to see him while the screen is still black. So what I like to do is, while spamming the jump button, also be constantly shaking my controller. The reason for this is Mario will input a variation of a motion input, which will actually stop the jumping up animation early, allowing you to instantly dive as soon as you feel the vibration for the motion input. Doing this can allow you to grab the cycle of these parts of the floor falling, allowing you to roll boost over this corner and getting a tighter line. But anyway, we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves here. As I said before, once you feel the vibration, instantly dive. Then begin roll boosting forwards. Stick close to this right edge. If you're fast enough with your rolls, you can time a roll boost over this corner here to take a tighter line, as I mentioned before. Then roll down the slope, and once you're close to the bottom, roll boost off of it and towards Bowser, before spin through roll cancelling to capture him from a distance. Then of course, skipping the cutscene. Then, while walking forward and slightly towards the right, and I do mean ever so slightly towards the right, double jump, and at the peak of the double, swipe as Bowser to get a little bit more height to make it on top of these blocks. Then jump up again and shake to shoot a fireball to not only hover in the air to get more horizontal distance, but also to get a hit off on this wall. Then once you land, shake and shoot out another fireball. Then as you approach the wall, start spamming the Y and X buttons to start swiping it as Bowser. You'll need 4 swipes to break it open. Then situate yourself along this line here on the floor and just run straight ahead, swiping at any falling rocks if they get too close, before finally, once you're at the end, jumping up the steps, then killing your jump sequence here so you don't overshoot, before starting up another one so you can triple jump off this single block right in front of you, jumping towards the left and shaking while aiming towards the rock to get an early hit on it. Then, as you're running up to it, start swiping to break it, all while putting Bowser as far into this left corner as you can. Once you've broken the rock and the bridge falls down, begin walking forward as Bowser, and then jump up onto the bridge and turn towards it in the air before making a beeline for the pipe in the wall. Once you've entered the pipe, press and hold either the Y or X button and don't let go of it for the entire 2D section. This is what lets you sprint as 2D Bowser. As soon as you can, hold right and jump, then press the opposite button to what you're holding 3 times to shoot out some fireballs to break the blocks in front of you. As you're turning the curve of the wall, jump up, and as you land, shoot another fireball and continue running towards the right. Once Bowser's head has cleared the block above you, press the jump button and jump on top of the block in front of you. Then swing your analog stick back towards the left and jump on top of the block you just jumped past. Then as soon as you land, swing back towards the right, jump, then once again, swing your analog stick back left again to jump up to the top level. This is called 2D skip. This might look crazy if you've never tried this before, but really this is just taking advantage of some coyote frames in this game, which is basically the generosity of ledges when you can still jump off of them even when you're not on them anymore, if that makes sense. Mario games are generally really good for this, as you can usually basically run over the edge of a ledge and still jump off it for like quite a while, actually. And that's more or less what we're doing here. It's just not really that extreme. But anyway, now that that weird rant is over, once you're up top, begin running towards the left. Then just before you turn the corner again, instead of holding directly left, hold more of an up left angle on your analog stick. If you don't, Bowser will slide along the ground as the game for some reason thinks you're trying to turn around. I'm not entirely sure why, but it's just a thing that happens, and the easiest way to avoid it is to just move your analog stick to a diagonal instead. Then, as you're approaching the next set of blocks, you have two options. One saves 0.1 seconds, and the other is just slightly safer. So let's take a look at the 0.1, shall we? What I like to do is jump, shoot 2 fireballs to break these blocks, then as I'm getting up that block, shoot 2 more to break open these blocks, then once again jumping and breaking up this block here, then continuing forward and jumping on top of this final block. Then turning around briefly, and similar to 2D skip earlier, jump up and curve around the floor to get on top of it. Then before Bowser has a chance to turn around, you have to jump again and move your analog stick towards the right. If you don't, and Mario turns for even just a frame, you'll kind of mess this whole thing up as 2D Bowser can't change direction in midair. So once you are moving towards the right, shoot a fireball at the block to break it so that you land on the floor and don't slide down to your death. Then jump up the step, go neutral, jump to break the block above your head, then jump up again and head in whatever direction Bowser has decided to face. Then shoot a fireball at that respective block, land on the floor, and of course, jump up and begin holding forward to get out of the 2D section. I'm not going to go incredibly in-depth on the other way to do this part of the 2D section, as for the most part it's kind of self-explanatory, but I will show you a clip of what it looks like. Now that that's over, as soon as you're out of the 2D section, jump and input a shake to shoot a fireball, then jump and shake, and then once you're on this block, shake, and then jump. Then once you land, shake, then simply walk over the edge of the block, and as you land, shake. And one last time to break open the wall, shake. Are you seeing the pattern here? Then assuming you've been following the line I've shown on screen, you should be able to just instantly jump and shake to shoot at the next wall, as you should be between the rocks and have a direct path to the wall. Then once you've gone up the step, simply shake to shoot fireballs until you're at the wall, at which time the rock wall should have broken away, assuming you didn't get any dropped inputs. Then just put yourself in a corner and continue swiping as Bowser until you break open the wall. We get in a corner here because there's a far lower chance of getting hit by a falling rock in the corners, as they tend to not spawn there as often. Or if they do, they normally teleport across for whatever reason. Then, all we have left is pillars. Pillars, man. This one, I'm not exactly going to be able to go super in depth on input for input, as there are honestly so many things that go into pillars that I'd be here for hours, and then there's a sprinkle of RNG as well. Think of pillars like the Wiggler of late game, it's kind of that obnoxious, but anyway, let's at least give this a go. Keep in mind, everything I'm about to say is simply what I do, or at least what I aim to do. That doesn't make it the best or the most optimal, but it's what works for me. Honestly, I've never timed my pillars. I've never timed my average pillars. I don't know what I'm capable of, so this is all to be taken with a grain of salt, a little bit more than most of my videos. But anyway, as soon as you gain control of Bowrio, I hold directly towards the first pillar on the right, and then I just start jumping and shaking to shoot fireballs towards it. You need 5 hits on each pillar to break it. Emphasis on hits here. Just because a fireball is on a direct path towards the pillar doesn't mean it's going to do a point of damage to it. So what I like to do is shoot my 5 shots, then while making my way towards the second pillar, turning the camera towards the first pillar just to keep an eye on it. Then once the hit is confirmed, swinging back around, jumping up this step, and swiping if you need to get up top. Then jumping and shooting as many times as you comfortably can before getting up to it and swiping it until it's broken. Normally you can fit like 1 or 2 fireballs here. Sometimes the second fireball spacing doesn't really work out, so it's not always recommended. But anyway, moving on. Then of course, as soon as it's destroyed, turning towards the next pillar, heading towards it, and jumping and shooting towards it. For this pillar, I like to throw in these jumps where I can to avoid any falling rocks rocks that roll along the ground. It doesn't always work out, but when it does, it helps. If you aim well and you don't get rolled by falling rocks, you can actually break this pillar before you reach it, and if you don't, of course, swipe at it until it's broken. Then for the final pillar, following the same basic steps, making your way towards it, and shooting as many fireballs towards it as you can. Except for this one, you don't want to get close to it and swipe at it right up close, as all of the floor around it will fall away, so instead, sit in the corner of this platform here as this doesn't fall at all, and shoot any remaining fireballs until it's broken. Then turn around and head towards the center. Make sure to not shoot any fireballs or swipe until the pillar has fallen and broken open the moon rock. If you don't wait, there's a chance an invisible wall will spawn and you will not be able to get onto the center platform and you will kill your run. It's as simple as that. Wait. Be patient. As soon as the pillar has broken the moon rock and you can jump up towards the center, now you can shoot a fireball to get an early hit on the center rock, then get on the corner of the rock and just spam swipe. And of course, once it's broken open, run towards and jump into and swipe towards the pylon. Swiping here doesn't save any time or anything, but I find it helps make sure you don't accidentally jump straight past it, as it sort of pseudo extends Bowser's hitbox. This is just a weird quirk I've had for a while. You don't really have to do this if you've never had a problem with it. Just don't end up like CMFP and almost kill your sub-hour run to it. But with all that done and dusted, hold forward on your analog stick, shoot out of that wire, and split for Moon Kingdom. Congratulations, you just went fast. Thank you so much for watching, gamers. Whether it's just this video or the entire series, you are greatly appreciated. Never underestimate your value. If you haven't already, be sure to check out the Twitch and Discord. Or again, if you haven't, now is a good time as any to subscribe to the channel if you've been holding out. There's another video already planned and on its way relating to Moon Kingdom, and a brand new series will be kicking off on the channel very soon. I just need some more time to get a few things sorted out beforehand, so do keep an eye out. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I was able to help you with this series, and I hope I was able to improve your Odyssey speedruns.